We're hearing tonight from Vice President Harris for the first time since her concession speech after the election with Donald Trump about 3 weeks ago. This is in a virtual call that happened where Harris was thanking grassroots supporters and telling them to keep up the fight that fueled her 107-day campaign.
I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it. And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th.
That message is coming as the team behind her campaign is also speaking out about what they think went wrong. This was in a candid interview that happened with Pod Save America, where one senior advisor to the campaign, Stephanie Cutter, explained Harris's struggle to distance herself from an unpopular President Biden.
We were never going to satisfy anybody. She felt like she was part of the administration, so why should she look back and cherry pick some things that she would have done differently when she was part of it? And she had tremendous loyalty to President Biden. Imagine if we said, well, we would have taken this approach on the border. Imagine the round of stories coming out after that of people saying, well, she never said that in a meeting, or what meeting when she said this, or I remember when she did that. And it wasn't going to give us what we needed because it wouldn't be a clean break.
My Democratic source tonight is Congressman Tom Suozzi of New York, and it's great to have you here, Congressman, because you always speak so bluntly about your party. You know, we talked about that with your election win. And so first, just on hearing from Harris tonight, her message to grassroots supporters, what do you make of that?
Well, thanks, Kaitlan. Thank you so much. And listen, people have just got to recognize that we've got to deal with the reality in front of us. President Trump is going to be the president again. The Republicans are going to control the Senate, and they're going to have a narrow majority in the House. And we have to do our jobs to, in some cases, resist, fight back against things we think are irresponsible, like we did when President Trump was president before, when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act or get rid of DACA. But in other cases, we have to work together with the administration to accomplish things that the American people want done. Things like the border, for example. Let's work together to solve problems and make America a better place and try and move forward together as a country.
Well, and as everyone's looking back, you know, with Harris specifically, I see what you're saying about what it's going to look like come January. But when you hear from Harris, when you hear from her campaign and the advisors who talk about this is why they felt like they couldn't come out and distance themselves from very unpopular positions on immigration, something that was a cornerstone of your campaign. How do you hear that based on your experiences?
Well, listen, you're the vice president of the United States of America, working with the president. You've been picked to this very august job by the president, and there's a human aspect here. She's loyal to the president. I mean, that's understandable. He gave her the opportunity of a lifetime. So that loyalty is an admirable quality. You know, if ever people want to second guess things, I thought she ran a good campaign. One of the lacking things was there wasn't enough vision for the future about what you were going to do to solve the problems of the future. But that's what it is. I mean, we are where we are.
We did go to Houston, and she gave a great speech at an amazing event.
The Beyonce event?
Yes. Well, I'm going to call it reproductive freedom. And because Texas is ground zero for the impact of these Trump abortion bans, we were hoping to be able to fit it in around that. And ultimately weren't able to do it. As it turns out, that was the day that Trump was taping his Joe Rogan.
I don't think anyone would, in good faith, argue that is what made or broke this election. But do you think it would have helped her to take a tack like what you were just kind of laying out?